Hey guys, welcome to VegStroller and I'm Nishant. We are focusing on our Europe trip planning series, and in previous episode I had explained you how you should decide whether to go for own travel or whether you should go via tour operator. If you missed watching that particular video, please click on the I button at the top or you can find the link in the description below. In this video, which is episode 2, we are assuming that you will be traveling on your own and we will focus on how to get started with planning your Europe trip. We'll cover few important topics like season, duration, budget, key things to remember when you're planning, how to decide where you should visit, and few other important tips. So if you like the video and find it useful, please remember to like, subscribe and share, and also remember to click on that bell button so that you get all the notifications whenever I upload a new video. Now let's get started with episode 2. Basically, there are 4 seasons in Europe: winter season, which lasts normally from December to March, spring season, which lasts somewhere from March to May, summer season, which normally lasts from June to September, and autumn season, which is September to November. So, these 4 seasons are the key seasons in Europe, and every season has its own pros and cons. For example, if you visit Europe in winter season, it will be very cold, but you will be able to enjoy the Christmas celebrations, New Year celebrations. You'll be able to see Europe in its beauty when it's all decorated, lighted up, and all the celebrations related to Halloween, Thanksgiving, everything happens in that duration. Although at that time the prices might not be very high, except in the Christmas New Year duration. But the problem in winter season is that the daylight is very less. It gets dark very early in Europe. So even as early as 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. It starts getting dark. So the duration you will get to visit places in Europe reduces. And that's the key challenge. Similarly, if you're talking about summer season, that's the best season to visit Europe because you get ample of daylight. The sun starts shining right from 5:30 a.m. in the morning, and it keeps shining until 8 o'clock or 8:30 or 9 p.m. in the night. So you have the entire day to visit. But remember that it's a peak tourist season in Europe, and everything will be very crowded and everything will be very costly. But that's the best season if you want to enjoy Europe in all its splendor. Similarly, if you want to visit in spring season, then spring is normally during the months of March, April, May, and at that time you will not only get good sunshine, maybe up to 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., but the weather will also be pleasant. You'll also be able to see Europe at its best in terms of greenery and nature. Everything will be fresh, all the greenery, all the flowers, varied colors, you will be able to see them all. And autumn, if you like the fall season, if you like slight winters, if you do not want to go during the peak tourist season, then yes, you can also look at the autumn season. You should also remember what is the purpose of your travel. For example, if you're planning to visit Europe for tulips, then the best season to watch tulips is spring, and you should go to Netherlands during the spring season. If you want to watch northern lights, then the season for that is winters, and you have to plan your Europe trip in winter. Some people can spend up to 1 week in one country itself, while some people can spend 1 week exploring 7 different countries. So it's all your personal taste, but in general, the recommendation is that if you are coming to Europe, you should try to come minimum of 7 days to 10 days. That should be the minimum amount of travel duration. I'm saying this because Europe is a once in a time opportunity for many people because of the expenses involved. And if you want to travel to Europe, the idea should be to see Europe as much as possible. But that does not mean you cramp up your schedule and you just keep running from one place to another. That will make things very hectic. Instead, you should try to make the duration such that you are able to visit various places which you want to as per your own leisure or as per your convenience. Remember that it should be a holiday trip. It should not be something like a 9 to 6 job where you're just running from one place to another every day. You want to feel relaxed on your holidays and you want to enjoy. That should be the main motto. Alright, so the next question is, where all should you visit in Europe? And this is where many people get stuck. The problem with Europe is that it is a combination of lots of countries and there are lots of places to visit and lots of things to do. So most people, they get stuck in preparing the itinerary because they want to cover hundreds of things but they do not have time. As a result, they either are not able to make their mind on what to visit and what not to visit, or they try to make their schedule very hectic by just running from one place to another. Instead of doing this, what I'll suggest at this point of time, a 4-step formula. Number one, take a pencil and a paper and start writing down all the places you have heard of or all the places you have ever dreamed of visiting in Europe. Step number two is to list them as per the preferences. So whatever is your first preference, bring it to the top of the list. Second preference as the second option and other things. Third step is to group them basis the country. Fourth step is to try and identify top 3 countries which you want to visit. Why top 3 countries? Because I'm assuming that you're visiting Europe at least for 7 days, and in 7 days, even if you're planning a leisure trip, 2 to 3 countries is maximum which you should cover, not more than that. So identify top 3 countries. Once you have this particular list, store it somewhere else safely and forget about that for now. We are not doing anything else apart from plan. Now why am I saying this? Because to book your tickets, which is the next video which I'll be creating, you do not need to have a perfect itinerary. All you need is 3 or 4 destinations, and based on that you can book your travel tickets. And since the Shenzhen visa will allow you to travel entire Europe, you can create a detailed plan later on. You just need to know what are the main countries you want to cover, and you can plan your ticket booking accordingly. Try to keep your dates flexible, but try to zero in on the approximate week in which you want to start your travel and approximate week in which you want to end your travel. Keep a flexibility of plus or minus 2-3 days because you want to keep the prices of flights also down. So for example, in my case, I am looking at traveling in May. Tentative days are in the first week of May as my departure date, and return date is somewhere around end of May. I am keeping that as my duration, and then based on the dates in which I get cheap ticket, I might make some changes, but that's the tentative duration. Budget I had already shared in my previous episode 1 video, but I am sharing the screenshot again. So tentatively it will cost you around 3,17,500 per person, but on a realistic cost basis it should not be more than 2,80,000. Tip number 1, download a map of Europe and try to remember the location of countries. So if I give you a very rough idea of Europe map, so it's basically A shape, wherein A is starting from Spain, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Austria, Italy, and in between you have Switzerland. Remember that map, and basis that try to keep your countries which you want to visit very nearby in a close circle. The second important tip which I want to give you is do not check on the flight tickets at this point of time. You very well know how flight tickets change dynamically, and once you try to check a flight ticket price on your computer or mobile, the cookies help the airlines understand that you are interested in flying in this particular duration to this location, and based on how frequently you start checking the prices and your search history, they might start increasing the prices. So that's it guys, I hope you found the content useful. Please remember to like, subscribe and share. Until next time, this is Nishant signing off. Bye, take care, ta.